Hello, everybody. My name is Jorge Olson. Welcome. Today, we will talk about how to craft your personal and professional image like a superstar. Really like a superstar? Yes, really like a superstar. It is part of our Unselfish Self-Promotion series of information. You can join us for the other ones, or you can call the office and get the older ones so that you can keep track of what we're doing here. Today, we will talk about image, about your image. And it will not only be personal, not only professional, but we will talk about everything that has to do with your image, even your public image, a little bit about your personal image as well. Let's get started. First of all, my name is Jorge Olson. A lot of you already know me personally. We've done business together. We're friends. We've worked together. Or you simply follow me or read my books, or you follow me on one of my newsletters or social media, where I have more than 100,000 people subscribed. Plus, I have another 40,000 to my feeds and the other social media space. But I have 100,000 that subscribe to my newsletter, want to read in my newsletters or in my discussion boards. If you're not there, you should be, because you will be receiving emails when we have these teleseminars, these webinars, or other type of information or teaching programs. I'm the author of The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion. I'm the author of Build Your Beverage Empire. I am currently writing and collaborating on 2 other books, plus writing another 2 books. So by the end of the year, I'll have 6 books. I spent a lot of my time and a lot of my life in branding products, branding companies, branding people. Image is a very large part of branding, so I've spent a long time in image as well. I've created more than 1,000 different products, and that's an image that you have to create there. And then I've worked with executives and other people to brand them and help them with their image. And this is mostly CEOs and some politicians over the years, but mostly executives. That's me. If you want more information about me, you can always go and visit jorgeolson.com, contact me through there. And also, you can see there my schedule, my speaking schedule. I do travel some to give keynote speeches, so you can subscribe to see when I'm going to be in your town giving a keynote or anything similar. Your image. First of all, your image. What are the important things about your image? Well, you have to feel comfortable with your image. And by the way, that's the #1 thing people tell me. I want to feel comfortable with my image. If you see a publicist on television, they always talk about wear something that you feel comfortable. If you watch TV before a major entertainment event like the Oscars or something similar, you see actresses saying, well, first of all, I need to feel comfortable with my dress, with makeup or whatever they have. So feeling comfortable is important, but it's not the most important, although you might think, but it is not. Your look is important as well. By your look, I mean everything about it. Your hair, if you're underweight, if you're overweight, your makeup, jewelry, everything about your look. Impressions. This is very important, but not the most important. What sort of impressions do you leave? First impression, second, third, what are the impressions that you leave? And the most important is create comfort. So it's not, the most important part of your image is not that you feel comfortable, is that others feel comfortable. Now this is very important because this is part of the philosophy of branding, and we spoke about this in other audios and videos, the philosophy of branding. the number one step to everything related to branding, everything related to marketing, everything related to self-promotion, the first step is always you. Always. You have to work on yourself first. The second step is always others. Once you worked on yourself, you have to work on others. And this is what I'm talking about. Create comfort. It's about others. The third step is always influence. This is when you start influencing, selling, giving your opinion, making changes. It's always the third. So number one is you. Number two is others. And then number three is change or influence. That's why it's important that you feel comfortable so that you can get it out of the way. And then you can start working on what really matters. If you're not comfortable with yourself, you cannot start the process. So yes, it is important, not the most important. Your personal image. And we're going to talk a lot about your personal image because that's your public image, your professional image depend on your personal image. Personal image is first because remember, we always start with you. And today we're going to talk a little bit about your clothing. Yes, we have to. About you physically, everything about you physically. Now remember, image, a lot of image has to do with what people see. Yes, sometimes it's what they hear, but mostly what they see. So we're going to talk about your physical person. We're going to talk about you and your things as well. Your things can be your car, your clothing, if they're clean, if they're not clean, as an example, and the interaction that you have. And this is where it's not only the clothing, everything else comes in interaction. Interaction is your voice. Interaction is your expression. Interaction is your know-how, your personality. Now, we don't have time for a personality makeover today, but in the future we'll explore. And in the book, The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion, the interaction or this other very important part of you is explored. And this is your education, your learning. How do you improve yourself? And then when that happens, how do you help others improve? And then, of course, the influence. We will not cover a lot of that. We will cover today the other part, the more superficial. Yes, I said it, superficial. Now, I want you to test it. Everything is testing, right? So I want you to test your personal image and do it with people that you trust enough so that they can tell you the truth. Let me repeat that. These have to be people that you trust and they trust you. And they trust you enough to tell you the truth. They will not say, oh yeah, you look great. No, you're not overweight. No, you look fine. Your hair's fabulous. No, that's not what you want. What you want is the truth. Yeah, you could lose 20 pounds. Yeah, you look a little fat. Yeah, that haircut, no, I don't like it. That's what you need. So make sure to leave your ego on the side and test. Now, very important. What is the difference between personal image, professional image, and public image? Good question. Personal image, we already talked about it. It's you. It's the real you. It's everything about you. That's your personal image. It's your personal brand. It's your branding. It's the relationship that you have physically, visually, orally with others. Everything that's around that, your clothing, your physicality, the way you walk, the way you move, the way you talk, everything about it, that's your personal image. It's everything about you reflected and how other people receive it. That's your personal image. Because remember, it starts with you, but if there's nobody except for you, then this conversation that we're having would be mute. So you need other people And that's why your personal image matters, because it's a relationship. Remember, we talked about this in the past. Branding is a relationship. Personal branding is a personal relationship. Again, branding is a relationship. Personal branding is a personal relationship. The most important relationship, a personal relationship. So that's your personal image. It doesn't mean your personal image, your private image, who you are with your friends and with your family in your house. No, that's not a personal image. Your personal image is everything, because who you are inside of your house has to be the same person outside of your house. That's personal image. Your professional image is the image that you want to portray. This one you can build, you can work on. Maybe it's an image of an expert. Maybe it's an image of a keynote speaker, of a writer, of an executive, of a CEO, entrepreneur. Maybe you want to be in the media, and then you convert your professional image into a public image. And this is when we start getting into a public image. Remember, one is your professional image, right here, who you are, and everything that you do related to your profession. It can be business, it can be politics, it can be something else. Maybe you are an actor, and that's part of your professional image. That will turn into your public image. The public image is how the public perceives you. Now, this is important because these are people that do not know you. In your professional image, you're trying to portray an image to people that know you, or they will know you. You have a relationship with them. Maybe the relationship is not personal, side to side. You speak with them, maybe it's not that type of relationship, but maybe it's email-based. Maybe they subscribe to your newsletters. Maybe they follow you in some way because they want to either buy your products or services, your books, whatever. So you have a relationship with them. That's a professional relationship. That's your professional image. It has to do with your profession. The public image, you have a relationship now with people that you don't know. In other words, it's not a personal relationship. It's not a professional relationship. You will not meet them, and you will not interact directly with them. Maybe they will see you on TV. They will listen to you on the radio. They will read about you, or they will read your articles or your books. But you don't have a physical relationship or other type of relationship like you do in the professional or in the personal. That's the public image. An example of a professional image is you have a business, or you're an executive in a business, and you meet with people, either clients or future clients, potential leads. They can be investors, they can be employees, they can be colleagues. That's one. That's the personal relationship that you have with them in your profession, face to face. You may talk with them on the phone or by email. That's the second one. It's a non-direct, a non-person to person. Or they could be leads, and maybe they read your articles, they read your books, or like the one we're having right now where I'm speaking and we're not having a conversation yet. We will start soon, but we don't have it yet. That can be a professional relation as well. The public one, let's say that you wrote a book and people read your book expresses your opinion, and then they have a photograph of you. That's a public image. You give a keynote speech to 1,000 people. That can be a public image. You're on the radio and they're interviewing you on the radio, on TV, and a lot of people are there listening and seeing you on TV. That's a public image. What do you want your public image to be? Number one, let's not lie. Let's not lie. Image is superficial. And that's very important to know. Now, I really wish it was not. I really wish people would get to know you and understand you and then judge you. I really wish that would happen every single time with everybody, that it doesn't matter what you wear, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter the watch, the shoes, the car. It's about you. That's what I wish, but that's not reality. You have to stick with reality. And reality is that image is superficial. So Jorge, image is superficial, so why do I have to worry about image? Again, that's a good question. Image is superficial, but first impressions are not. Again, image is superficial, but first impressions are not superficial, or second or third impressions. That's why it's important. Remember that. First impressions are not. Now, what's the problem with first impressions? A first impression will last. A first impression will last a long time. A first impression will last longer than until you have the second impression. First impression doesn't just last until the second impression. That's very important. That's why you hear so much around first impressions, because a first impression does not just last until the second impression. It remains with people in their minds, the way they see you, what they think about you, what they will say about you. So make sure that you always keep that in mind. You have to always create a stellar first impression. Always, every single time. First impressions are very important. Now, all impressions are important. It's just that first impressions get all the credit. Maybe you don't want it, maybe I don't want it, but that's reality. Again, we have to go back to what's reality, and that's reality. So you have to create a stellar first impression and second impression and third impression. Now let's explore this. And I have an example that I want to share, a personal story. A lot of you know me in person. I live in San Diego, California. And most of the time, I don't have shoes. I like not wearing shoes. And when I do wear shoes, most of the time I wear what they call in my country of Mexico, where I was born and raised, huaraches, or sandals. That's what I wear. I wear every day. Winter, well, what we call winter, sometimes I put some shoes on because it's cold. Cold for me is when it drops below 70, by the way. So I wear shorts most of the time, and either a traditional Mexican or Spanish guayabera, which is a traditional shirt, or something light. Yes, I have suits, and I have ties, and I have coats, and I have everything to make first impressions or second or third impressions, but this is what I wear most of the time that I'm in my house or that I'm carting about, even what I wear to the office. Oh no, sometimes I wear something else to the office. Now what's important about this? I had a meeting that I didn't know about. One of my employees had a meeting, and I wasn't scheduled for the meeting. I was doing something else, quoting about San Diego here in my sandals and my shorts. And these business people wanted to see me. They wanted some mentoring. Now this was, they were friends of one of my employees. And my employee called me and said, Jorge, please come over. They really need your help. They really want to listen to you. And I told him, I can't go. I'm wearing shorts. in sandals. I don't feel comfortable. It's not a correct first impression. Now, they've listened to me in the past on webinars. They've read my books. They've listened to 10 hours of audios, and I spoke to them on the phone several times. He said, no, just come on over. They don't care. They just care about the information you can give them. So please come on over and just give them some advice, some business advice. They're struggling. Okay, I agreed. It was about 10 minutes from where I was. So I went over and I sat down with them for an hour, and the solutions they were looking for, simple. 6 months later, they were doing some big import business, about 20 truckloads per 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they were doing 20 truckloads of product, and I wanted in. So again, I called my employee. He spoke with them and said, hey, what can we do together? Jorge wants in on this business. They said, you know what? We cannot let him into the deal because he wore shorts to the meeting. Whoa. I was shocked in so many ways that you can't imagine. Now, this is a lot of business. There was a lot of business for me. And what was shocking, I did it as a favor. I didn't want it to go, et cetera, et cetera. But then at the end, it was still the first impression, and it lasted. And I lost business because of it. So first impressions are important, whether they say they're not, when we think they are. The rules for your image. Remember, we talked about this when we started. What are the rules for your image? You have to feel comfortable. And again, when I do image consulting or when I do personal branding consulting, I always tell my clients, you have to feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, it's going to be tough. Now, get over it, feel comfortable, and get over it. Now, it's not about you anymore. Because you're not dressed by yourself in your house. You're dressed in this way. You're creating this image to achieve something or a goal. Maybe the goal is to make you feel good, and that's an awesome goal. Maybe your goal is to influence or to help or to get business. That's a goal. And to achieve that goal, you have to make others comfortable. So again, number one, what everybody knows about image is you have to feel comfortable. I don't have to tell you that. You already know that. You hear it everywhere. Publicists say it. People on TV say it. Books say it. Designers, clothing designers say it. You have to feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable, then you're going to look fine. That's the number one step. Get over it. Feel comfortable, get over it. Move on. Your goal is to make others feel comfortable. Once you can feel comfortable wearing anything, which is what you really want, is you want to grow until you have something, you have a personality that feels comfortable in flip-flops or in a tailor-made suit. That's what you want. Once you achieve that, and that may take a day or a year or 5 years, that's not an easy undertaking, feeling comfortable in everything that you wear. But once you achieve it, get over it. Move to number two. This is your real goal. Make others feel comfortable. Make others feel comfortable. Help them. Give them. Once others feel comfortable, then you move to your real goal, which is number three. Because the whole reason of creating your image, your personal brand, your self-promotion, the whole image, the whole purpose of all of this that we're talking about is number three, which is influence. That's what you really want. You want people to like you, or you want to sell something, or you want something, and that's always number three. Now, number one believe it or not, is going to be the toughest one. Number 2 and 3 are going to be easy. Number 1 is going to be the toughest one because it's about you. And dealing with you is not easy, you probably know. And you have to deal with you, and you have to change. And changing is not easy, but it is the best thing. Always change. Always change. And when you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable right now in anything, in a suit, in a sports coat, in shorts, in jeans, in everything, then you need to. And whatever you need to do to achieve that, whatever problems, baggage, misconceptions you have, fix them. It may take you 1 book, 1 course, 10 books, 10 courses, a shrink, whatever it takes. It is an excellent goal to achieve. The why influence. Number 3 is influence. Again, why influence? You are doing all of this for influence. Maybe you want people to like you. Maybe you want people to listen to you and what you have to say, or your message is to your kids or to your family members, or your message may be in the form of an article or the form of a book. That's what you want. That's your influence. Maybe you want people to follow your advice because remember, number 1, you already achieved something in number 1. You changed. You are a better person. You feel comfortable. You're happy. So you want to give people advice now on how to be happy, how not to make mistakes, either mistakes you made or mistakes they might make. That's influence. Maybe you want people to respect you, and that's why you're building your image and your brand. Or maybe you want people to buy from you. Maybe you have a business and you want people to buy from you. Or maybe you're selling products, or maybe you're a salesperson or an executive. Maybe you want a raise at your job, or maybe you want a promotion, or probably both. That's influence. When you move something, when you change something, when you change, not when it changes, when you change something, when you move something, that's influence. Influence can be with your kids. Influence can be with your parents, with your brothers and sisters. Influence can be at work with your colleagues. Influence can be with clients. To create business, with investors. You want an investment for your company. You need to influence people. You need to make them move something, do something. So it doesn't matter if it's in your job, if it's in your house, in your family, with friends, in business, in politics, if you're an actor, if you're a writer. It doesn't matter. It's influence. And that's why you need influence. Again, let's go back to the beginning. Personal image. We touched on a few things about your personal image, like your clothing, your physical person, but your things, like your clothing, your car, and your house, your desk, other things that you have, and then the interaction. Remember, the interaction is everything else that I didn't mention just now. Your interaction is everything. It's the number 1 that we talked about. It's everything that relates to you, everything that you need to change, everything that you would like to change, everything that you can know, the better person you can be, and how that better person will interact with others. Just a refresher so we can move forward. Why is that important again? Why is you so important in this influence? Because if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others? That's why it's important. We've heard this a lot of times, but we have to pay attention to what it means. So what does it mean? Others. Take care of others. Well, take care of others means take care of their business. If you want to close business, if you're in business, if you're an executive or an entrepreneur, taking care of others means taking care of their business. If you can't take care of yourself and your business, how can you take care of others? If you can't take care of yourself, your image, how can I give you my business? Look at you. You're overweight, underweight, you don't look clean, etc. It can be a job. How do you want me to give you a job, trust you with something I have, if you can't take care of yourself? If you want a job, if you want a promotion, you have to work on your image so that people trust you. Remember, trust is influence. Otherwise, your boss or potential boss or the person in HR that will give you a raise or a promotion will say, if you can take care of yourself, how can you take care of this new position, this new job? Service, maybe you give a service, whatever type of service this is. Maybe you're a politician and you want votes, and people will look at you and will say, how can you take care of the city or the town or the country or the state if you can take care of yourself? Look at you. Look at the image. Look at how I see you. You cannot take care of yourself. I cannot trust you with my vote. Maybe it's products. Maybe you want to sell products. Going back to image. Maybe you want to solve problems. How can you solve my problem? How can you give me advice? Have you ever heard that one or told something that? How can you give me advice? You want to give me advice about dieting? Lose 20 pounds. You want to give me advice about exercise? Lose 20 pounds. You want to give me job advice? Get a job. You get a job first and then give me some advice. Fix your problems at home, then give me some marriage advice. If you want to influence, you have to take care of your image first, of yourself. This is why it always starts with number one. The rule behind branding, the rule behind influence is you. Others, influence. Remember, it's you, it's others, it's influence. Those three. Let's go back to superficial. Let's go back to your image. How can you find your personal look without being a supermodel? Well, you can. Remember, number one, it's you. You have to take care of you. Let's talk about your image. Let's get into here. We're going to talk about your clothing. Yes, we have to talk about your clothing. That's part of your image. Sorry, but we have to do it. Let's talk about you. A quick overview. We're going to take it from the top, your head. We're going to talk about your head, your torso, your legs, your hands and feet. We're just going to do that to have some fun, but then to break it down as well. What do I mean by this? Well, let's get started. Let's talk about your head and neck. Imagine or look at you in the mirror, or if you can't right now, imagine your head. What does it have? An image. How do people perceive you? Maybe it's your hair. And again, a lot of it's going to be testing. You have to ask people. Ask them about your hair. Ask them about maybe your beard. Ask them about maybe your makeup. If you use makeup, about makeup that you use. Is it too much? Too few? Do you need it at all? You wear a hat. What type of hat? Where do you wear it to? Ask people before you go there if you should wear a hat or a beard or shave or makeup or whatever you need. That's the head. So my rule of thumb is, I love hats, by the way. I don't necessarily wear baseball hats, but I like other funky hats. But I don't wear them in business. I wear them, the weekends mostly, when I have barbecues with the family, when I go to the park. I like hats. So hats are out. You have to take care of your hair. Get some opinion, take care of your hair. I've been going to the same person that cuts my hair since I was 16 years old. It's very important to me. It should be very important to you. Now, granted, not everybody has a stylist. Not everybody has a publicist. Not everybody has a personal image consultant or a chief branding officer or a personal photographer. I don't have all of those things. I have some of them, by the way. I do have some of them, I must admit. But I'm in that business. I do have a vice president of branding. So I'm very lucky that everything that shows up in the public light, I have somebody full-time that has been working on branding whole life. I do have a professional photographer, I must admit as well. This happens to be that one of my best friends is a professional power and fashion photographer. What does that mean? It means power portraits and fashion photography. If anybody needs, he flies to anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world. If anybody needs him, shoot me an email and I'll be happy to send them to you. If you're in LA or San Diego or Southern Cal, it's easier. If not, he'll fly and he'll do a shoot for you or you and your company if you need it. And then fix the photo so that you look 10 years younger, of course. Of course. Head and neck. Neck. Okay, what do you wear on your neck? No tattoos, please. No jewelry. Jewelry for men, skip the jewelry. When I travel, wear something religious underneath my clothes. You can't see it. But that's personal belief. It's not for jewelry purposes, and I wear that. If you're a female executive or a female, you have to ask your friends. You have to study a little bit more. It has to be something simple. It has to be something that does not steal from your face. Same with your earrings. It does not steal from your face. If you're a man and you wear earrings, same advice. Wear earrings that will not steal from your face. Steal what? Tension. So it has to be something that complements you, your personality, maybe your outfit, but it does not steal anything away from your face, because that's what people want to focus, and that's what will make the influence when people are looking you in the eyes. You have your torso, and what does that mean in your torso? It means a t-shirt, a shirt, a blouse, a coat, it may be an overcoat. Here in Southern California, even a suit, you get very hot with a suit. But I know that when I travel to New York and in other places, I have to wear a coat on top of my suit because it's cold. And I mean real cold, not 65 degrees. So what about your torso? What's the rule of thumb there? No t-shirts unless they're undershirts. No t-shirts, especially not for meetings. Now, if you are an artist, a lot of things change. If you're a painter, a sculptor, a lot of things change. If you're a writer, not a lot of things change. But if you're a man, yes, then you have to look the part. If you're a rocker, you don't want to wear a suit. But my audience is not rockers, so you're probably not a rocker if you're listening to me. My audience is different. It's mostly executives, writers, artists. So torso, if you're a man, you need a shirt, long sleeve shirt, and you need maybe a sports jacket or a suit jacket. If not, if you feel uncomfortable, that's fine. You can just wear a shirt. It doesn't have to be a business type shirt. It can be another cool shirt that you can look for. There's a lot of brands out there that are not business shirts, the kind where you wear with a tie, but they're awesome looking patterns. They have patterns, and you can still wear them for meetings without losing your edge if you're an artist. And I'm a writer besides being a business person and entrepreneur. So half of me wears a suit, let's say, and half of me wears something crazy or wants to wear something crazy. So I understand if you want to wear something crazy or something that suits your other personality. Or you can wear a blouse. It can be a blouse. Don't wear something puffy. Wear something, again, where the attention goes to your face if you're a female. That's for your torso. You have to wear a suit. No, you don't have to wear a suit. And I sometimes wear suits. Let me give you another quick story. I had some investors coming to San Diego from through different places, New York, and two other places. And these were hedge funds that came to see me. And I know these people. I know them personally. We're good friends. They don't wear suits when they see me. They wear jeans and a T-shirt, tennis shoes, because we're friends. And we're at the point where the relationship is in our minds, what we know, not necessarily how we dress. I wore a suit without a tie, and the reason I did that is because it was a new investor that was coming, and I did not have a relationship. I did not even know this person. And one of the investors told me, Jorge, why do you have a suit? I told you, wear jeans, it's fine. And I told him, I'm the president of Premier Brand. Keyword brand. It's a branding company. We brand. We brand people, and we brand companies, and we brand things. I need to play the part. And that's a good example of when do you wear something versus another thing, a suit versus not a suit. I didn't wear a tie. Now I seldom wear ties. I do wear them, but not as much as before, where every meeting was with a tie. And I might wear a suit without a tie, or if it's extremely hot in San Diego, just business casual. The legs, look at your legs. These are the pants that you're wearing, or shorts. Skip the shorts. I already gave you a good example. Skip the shorts. Dress pants. Now, the pants will depend on, we can go hours on pants, by the way, clothing, and we're not. But rule of thumb for guys, it depends on your weight, and it depends on your body type. I am slim, I'm tall, I'm 6'2". I'm an exercise freak. I have an athletic look because I'm an exercise freak. And that dictates the type of pants you can wear, if they're straight, if they're not straight, they're loose fit, etc. There are a lot of things that go into it. Go to a store and ask. That's the best way of finding out. Go to a store and ask. Wear different ones, but also ask the person there. If they don't know, make sure that you speak with somebody that knows something about it. If you really want to know, if you really want to find out, because I studied it. I studied it, and then my suits are tailor-made, so I spoke with the designer who does my suits. He's done this for 30 years, and he knows everything that you can imagine about fashion. So I studied with him everything that you don't even want to know. What I studied, patterns, colors, too many things to be a normal conversation. But it was important, and it is important for me. You have to explain it, and I have to help my clients with it. So it is important to me. Maybe it's too much for you, but the knowledge is there if you need it. Now let's move to your feet and hands, and I'm talking, of course, about the shoe. I'm talking about shoes, and I'm talking about jewelry as well with hands. Rings. Wedding ring, of course, is acceptable. Other than that, for females, you can wear the understated jewelry. Guys, don't wear your crazy jewelry in business meetings. I'm talking about business meetings. I'm not talking about other things, but in business meetings. A watch, you can wear a watch. Let me give you a quick story here. When I was a child, I grew up with my mother and my grandmother, and we didn't have a lot of money. And my grandmother made all of her dresses and all of my mom's dresses when she was young or younger. She made all of them. And so they didn't have money to go out and buy something, but my grandmother was creative enough that they always had nice dresses because she made them. And they were always clean. And this is something that my grandmother always told me. It doesn't matter if you're poor, but it matters if you're dirty. So this is important. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It matters if you're dirty. And we were poor, but we were not dirty. Before I left the house, my grandma looked at me, okay, iron that shirt. Grandma, I have to go iron that shirt. And I was 6 years old, and I still remember this. Look at your shoes. Shine your shoes. Grandma, what are you talking? Shine your shoes. You're not going out of this house without shining your shoes. It doesn't matter if you're poor, because we were poor. It doesn't matter if you're dirty. So you're not going to be dirty. You're going to look iffy all of the time. So iron that shirt, shine your shoes. Another thing that my mother now, when I was older, used to tell me, and she was right, like most mothers, you can fool people with your shirt, you can fool people with your suit, you cannot fool people with your shoes. So make sure you always have nice shoes. And she was right. I worked when I was 20 years old. 20 years old, I started working selling clothing. And I sold suits and shirts and belts and different type of clothing. So I learned a lot at that time about selling clothing and the pricing and materials of clothing. So I can tell the difference between a $100 suit and a $1,000 suit, and even a $500, $400, etc. But nobody else could. So when we practiced at the store where I worked. When somebody walked in, I think that's a $100 suit. No, that's a $300 suit. No, that's a $2,000 suit. So it was very difficult for everybody to tell the price of the suit, but then the shoes gave it all away, because you looked at the shoes and then you said, no, that's a $100 suit, guaranteed, because look at the shoes. Cheap shoes, ugly shoes, dirty shoes. So shoes are very important, especially for guys. Now, guys, you don't want to think about shoes, I know that, but they are very important. When I couldn't afford good shoes, and this was for a long, long time, I still had to work, I still had to go to meetings. I was still a young executive, and I could not wear hand Italian-made shoes, but I did. What did I do? I looked for stores that had shoe returns from the big stores, like Nordstrom type of stores and other big stores, and I looked for shoes for those same stores that had specials that came from the other stores, and I bought my shoes there. Expensive shoes, $20. And that's, of course, I was obsessed with it, so I have to go every day and look for a week, 2 weeks in order to find a pair of shoes. But it's time or money, right? I didn't have the money, but I had the time to go look for it. So shoes are important. That's the whole point of it. Shoes are important. When I'm thinking of this and I'm listening to myself talk, I'm thinking image is superficial. Image is superficial. So believe me, I get it. I get that image is superficial, but we know why we're doing it, because impressions are not. We need those impressions. We need to get past the shoes in order to get to number 2 and feel people make people feel comfortable, right? And then get to number 3. Let's not lose what we're here for. This is just part of the process of your image. It's an important process. It is superficial, but we need it. Now you create your image. Your image is about how others see you, right? It's your brand. It's the relationship you have with others. But nowadays, there's also an online image. When you speak with somebody, they'll go look for you on the internet. They'll Google you. When you are in a business meeting, or if you're an artist, or if you're a writer, or if you're a musician, or if you're interviewing for a job, no matter what you're doing nowadays, people will Google you. Now let me ask you, what will they find? Tell me about your biography. Will they find it? Tell me about your photographs. What will they see? Is it what you want them to see? Do you convey image like a publicist would? How about what you say? And this is part of what we talked before about number one, that you have to be comfortable with yourself, and that includes your speech. Are you a professional speaker? Why not? Become one. Well, I don't have the knowledge. Get the knowledge. I don't have the practice. Get the practice. I have the know-how. Get the know-how. I've been speaking in public in Spanish first since I was 7 years and competing. And then moved to the States. I wasn't, let's say, as I was in Spanish, where I was state speaking champion for I don't even remember how many years. I said I'm going to do the same thing in English. So I started competing and I won several competitions, but I became and studied until I became a professional speaker. Not just speaking a little bit, not just giving a presentation, a professional speaker. And a professional speaker that wins contests, speaking contests as well. So if I can do it coming from a foreign language, you can do it. Get the knowledge. Join Toastmasters. Practice. Read. Do whatever. Give webinars. Teleseminars. Now your online image is the other one. It's not the personal one. It's not the one where people interact with you, listen to you in the webinar. It's the other one. It's where you don't have a lot of control when they are doing it. They're searching online. You're not there to tell them, no, ignore that. That's a bad article. That's a bad review. Ignore it. You're not there. So you have to let the work speak for itself. You have to let the articles you wrote or your photograph or your biography speak for itself. And you better have all of this. Your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile, or your 20 other profiles, your blog or your website. It better be squeaky clean, and you better be controlling everything about it. The photographs, the text, everything. Now, it's a prerequisite. People will Google you for anything, for a job, if you're interviewing, before doing business with you. It's easy. Sometimes they'll Google you immediately after a meeting. You have professionals. If you don't get them, again, you can call the office and we'll get you somebody. If not, search for somebody in your town. But get them and use them like this. This is just an example. This is the same photograph. A photograph can be, you can start with the whole body or knees up or waist up, and then cut it. Don't just do a portrait. And this is important because this is the way you will manage your image. So it can be, you start with let's say a whole body, half body, or whatever you want. And then from there, you can go to a portrait, white portrait, or a portrait with showing a lot of the background, but it's going to be the same one. So your photographer will cut it on how the way you want it or the way you specify, because you need it for your portfolio, you'll need it for your media kit, you'll need it for everything. And then you can do from the same one that you took, a high quality one, you'll edit the headshots. And the headshots will be closer, or they will be a little bit behind, or it will be black and white, or all of the above. And they don't have to be serious. You can be laughing, you can be having fun. It depends on your personality. It depends on what you want. And then change them at least every 5 years. At least every 5 years. Take a new set. And yes, they can Photoshop them. That's fine. They can airbrush them. That's expected. And then once you have your new photograph, use them everywhere. And use the same photo. That's the branding part, right? That's where you control the image. Use them everywhere. Use them for your LinkedIn, for your Facebook, for your blog, for your book, for your articles, for your media kit, for everything. You need to use the same photograph for everything. That is very, very important. It is part of the consistency of your branding. Now, how do you prepare for a media kit? And what's a media kit, right? For starters, what's a media kit? Well, a media kit is going to be now part of your image. Everybody needs a media kit. No matter what you do, you need a media kit. And the media kit will have your biography, and I don't mean one page. It's a photograph of you with your biography, including professional achievements. It's not a resume, by the way. Photograph, title, not title at work, but title that you want to name the biography. Maybe it's CEO of XYZ. Maybe it's writer of XYZ, or politician or governor or whatever you have. That's the title. You have your photograph, the one we talked about. You have your biography, and the biography will touch on professional points and personal points. Who are you? Because you are not your work. You are not your job. You are not your profession. So you will talk about your profession, but then you will talk about who you really are. Maybe how you grew up. Maybe some challenges that you had in your life, obstacles. That's part of your biography. So you need your biography with photographs in your media kit. You need something for the press, for the media, for publicity. What do you need? Well, you need questions that they can ask you. Yes, they will ask you the questions that you wrote for them. Reporters will actually ask you the questions you wrote for them. So questions and topics. The topics that you can be interviewed on or that you can speak on. It better not be your business. You better not say, I can speak about my business, because you will never get any free advertising, publicity, or promotion. It is something that's interesting to the media. That's what you want. So give a couple of pitches, and we create media kits. If you want us to create your media kit, let us know, and we'll create it for you. But that's the essence of your media kit. If you have received publicity in the past, include clippings of your publicity. If you have a book, include your book in your publicity. That's the basic media kit. You can include more things, but that's what you absolutely positively need in your media kit. If by any chance a reporter calls you or you're pitching the media for your promotion, they will ask for the media kit, or they can download it from your media room. And the media room is your media kit online in HTML and PDF where they can download it. So you need one PDF on your site that they can download, and then you need the one HTML, the one they can read when you're in your website. And the same thing is printed in your media kit that you can send in a folder to a media, to a client, to an investor, so they can learn about you, not just your business, your products, or what you do, but you. So it's a good way of establishing relationships with your media kit, not just for publicity. I use it sometimes for clients, for investors, sometimes for friends. Instead of just giving them a book, I give them a whole media kit. Maybe it has a CD there or something else. If you have a CD or a DVD, include that in your media kit. Include that in your media room as well. And because this is not a media audio and video, we're not going to go into detail into the media room and how to get publicity, but we'll touch on that in the future, on how to get publicity, how to be on TV, radio, what reporters want from you, how to get the phone ringing. But for now, know that you need your media kit and you need your media room. And yes, we create also media rooms if you don't want to create it on your own. You also need to protect your image. The image that you just created, you need to protect it, especially online, where it's so easy for somebody to destroy it and just start giving you bad reviews. And believe me, it'll be a competitor. You'll get it. Maybe it's a competitor that's going to do it, because you can fix things with clients or colleagues. You can fix that. But if a competitor wants to harm you, it's hard. It's hard to do. And I also have a personal story about that. It's one of my books. One of my competitors was doing a whole campaign on one of my books, my beverage book, to leave me bad reviews, because I get a lot of business from my book, Build Your Beverage Empire, where I create and I brand and I sell consumer packaged goods, including beverages. So one of my competitors started giving me bad reviews, and the reviews were not about the book, they were personal reviews. Don't work with this person, or I don't like the book, it's not really about beverages, something like that. Now, the good part is that I have a lot of 5-star reviews, so they're a minority, but as an author, you get offended when you get a bad review. And if it's an unhappy customer, you can always call and say, I will return your money, I will fix it, I will send you something so that you're happy. But when it's a competitor, you can't do anything. You just have to make sure that your image is not that. And when people see your image and see that review online, on Yelp or whatever, they will say that's not this person. They just want to harm him. So make sure that you overprotect your image. Again, one of the most important things is, I know image is superficial, but first impressions are not. So always remember that. And now we have time for questions. Ask your question using chat, and you can ask questions about anything that you want. It can be about your products, it can be about yourself, your image, your branding or sales of products, or whatever you want. Use the chat for your questions, and I will go through them one by one. Let me open my chat here so I can see them. Okay. Okay. And we always have, in a slow day, we might have 15 questions. We've had about up to 100 questions after our events. And we will give some of these events live, by the way. So if you want to attend live events or a live meeting, please let us know as well. I travel quite a bit, so when I'm in your town, if you need a meeting, or if you want to go to an event, or if you want help now with something, with your product, with your service, with your image, with your branding, whatever you need, make sure you call the office. I'll put the number here so you can see it. Contact the office and let us know what you need. And we have a full staff. We have project managers. We have brand managers. We have everything that you need and a lot of things that you may not need. I have one question from Anna. Is it good to have an article about you in Wikipedia? It is a good idea to have an article about you anywhere, including Wikipedia. There's a lot of article places. There's a lot of article repositories, article directory. So yes, an article about you anywhere. Wikipedia, in the newspaper, magazines, articles online, on blogs, anywhere. Remember, people want a relationship with the person, not with the product. So absolutely, Anna, that's a great question. If you can get an article about your Wikipedia, get it, and then you can spin the article or write a new article for article distribution services, so you can place the article in different places. Same with press releases. If you Google my name, you'll notice that I have a lot of press releases, especially in the news section. I think today I had a few, today or yesterday. So also press releases about you or that include your name are very helpful. Not only for marketing, because you get a lot of link backs into your website or blog, make sure they link back to your blog, but also because if somebody's looking for you, they will read that. So very good question, Anna. Absolutely. Go for it. I have another question. Where are you going to share the link for this presentation file? It's usually a day after. Luis in the office does that. I don't do it myself. So, but I think he does it either same day or next day, depending on our workload. I think I have a call with him afterwards. He'll not do it immediately. So we try to take it as is, without a lot of changes, and then present it to you so you can see it or see it again. And for every person that's live in one of these events, we have, I would say, immediately 20 or 30 people immediately that see it the next day or the day before, and then 100 times 100 over the last few months. So if we get 100 people in the webinar, we might get over a year 10,000 people looking or listening to the audios. So Reynaldo will have this for you tomorrow. You'll get an email from myself or from Luis that says where you can see it. And then a lot of these, we haven't started, but a lot of these will be available also as audios and CDs that you can listen to in the car. And sometimes that helps depending on how you learn. I learn with audio. So for me, it's very important to always be listening to something. And what I like is when I get into the car, I put a CD, some learning type of CD, or an audio book, or even I listen to the newspaper with one of my subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, and you can get almost any newspaper now, an audio and listen to. That way I can multitask. I can do something and also be learning with audios. So we'll have these with audio as well, all of them. And we do one a week, so we have a lot. And on the different websites, we have a lot of audios right now. I don't remember how many hours, but I would guess now we have hundreds of hours of audio. And then we have a shy audience. Usually by this time, we already have an hour worth of questions. Remember, if you have questions, they can be about anything, like a past webinar or suggestions for a future webinar, or something that you would like me to tackle. If you don't want your name mentioned, just say it. And again, you have some of the contact information now in front of you. So if you need help with anything, you can call the office. If you're already subscribed to anything of mine, a newsletter or anything like this, you will get communication so that by email most likely join the next webinar. And we have webinars at the moment every single week. Sometimes we have them twice a week. They're not on the same topic. The series of this is from my book, The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion. But some of the webinars that we have are strictly consumer packaged goods, like beverages, food, vitamins, and other things that we create and sell in supermarkets, convenience stores, etc. From about branding. So we have different topics, and most of them have to do with food. My other book is Build Your Beverage Empire, so we talk a lot about beverages and how to form beverages, how to build beverages. This book is about self-promotion, but the ones that already read the book, if you already read the book, you know it's not just about self-promotion. You know it is also about the philosophy or the study of everything that's important to you and how you can use that to grow and then use it for influence. So that's the real topic of the book. It's not just your typical self-promotion. It is 3 steps, right? It is you first, then others, then you can start with your self-promotion or your influence. Let me see what more questions we have here. We also have a question about online marketing, the importance of online marketing. Yes, online marketing is very important. I do a lot of online marketing. I've been doing online marketing for 15 years before online marketing was in vogue. And I did it when I was an executive in a software company. I started. So I am a geek, and I've been a geek since I can remember. That includes in software. I was in software before I moved to my other profession. I was an executive in software companies, and I started with software very young, at 12 years old. So I've used online marketing to position myself as an industry expert, first in software and then in other things. I've used it to promote not only myself, but other people, products as well, services. If you don't want to learn the intricacies of online marketing, learn the big picture, the CEO view of online marketing, and then use others, because there is a lot of information on online marketing. And if you don't know how to use it correctly, it's going to be frustrating. I don't get leads, I don't get traffic, I don't get sales, what's happening? My phone rings every day, at least 40, 50 times per week without any advertising, people that want to work with me. And this is because of branding, image, online marketing, etc. So yes, online marketing is very important for any type of promotion, any type of business, any type of marketing, personal marketing of a company, of another person, of product. But you have to have a goal and you have to know how to use it. It is very technical. I rank #1 in the keywords that I want to rank on Google, and it takes me just a couple of months to get any other keyword. But the knowledge behind that was 15 years, and I have an entire team working on it. If you don't have that, I would recommend learn the big picture, hire somebody. Okay, another question, but this one is social media. Is social media important? Well, for me, social media is part of online marketing. It's just that social media is a newer term now. It's in fashion. Social media, of course, talks about, and I know a lot of people when they social media, they mean Facebook. Social media is very, very big, and the strategy behind social media for you is very, very big. We get our profile into every single, and of course we have proprietary software to do this. We don't do it manually, but we have software to promote and push and influence and help people in every single or almost every single network online. And this includes article directories, includes social networks, includes discussion boards, etc. And we have proprietary software to do it, and it's part of our social media. And then we have a lot of interaction. I do a lot on, personally, I do a lot on LinkedIn, where I'm maxed out with my connections. I have 30,000 plus, and I have groups. I have 10 groups, including a beverage business group, for those of you in the beverage industry. For those of you who are writers, I have one that's going to approach 50,000 members called Book Writers on LinkedIn. I have another one for people to do business in Mexico, one of them, which is a large one, for venture capital. If you're looking for venture capital or private equity, it's called Venture Capital on LinkedIn. So I have a very, very, very busy there as well, and I do a lot of personal interaction on LinkedIn. But it's up to you. It's up to what you like and the ones that you want to choose. For me, it's very, very important, but I have a team helping me. Again, I have a team helping me with these strategies for social media, for internet marketing. I can't do it. I used to do it on my own, but I was working 14 hours per day doing it, plus everything else that I have to do. So yes, absolutely, positively, they are important. But they're not everything. You have to start with one or two, or get some help. If you can't afford the help, then just start with one or two and concentrate on those. Maybe Facebook and LinkedIn would be the ones I recommend to start with. And for building your network, use the strategies in the book, Build Your Better. And the other one, The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion, which are the things that I use to this day. The way you use them online is content. You create content that helps people, and then people help you. It can't be that easy. Well, easy. Use that, and you will see results immediately. Get your questions in, because we're almost done. So make sure that if you have questions that you don't want to put here online, you can email the questions. You can call the office. You can go to one of the websites